my name is Iman and I'll be demonstrating how to make the CAT5e Ethernet cables. So today we will be using all the materials that I provided in my class to make the three different cables, which are the straight through, the rollover, and the crossover. The key difference between each cable is the different alignments of the wires inside to the Ethernet cable, as they all make the three different cables. The different tools that I'll be using today is a crimper, which will connect the cable to its terminators, the RJ45 terminators, which will go on both ends of the cable, scissors to cut off a little bit of the wire at the top so that they can fit well into the terminator, the cable stripper to take off a little bit of the cable just so that we could expose the wires, and of course the chart that will tell us how to align each wire to make its corresponding cable. Now, for the purpose of the demonstration, I'll be using a much shorter cable, but ideally in order to make the proper CAT5 cables, you would be using the 10 feet long cable. First, I will strip the cable to expose the wires at the top so that we can separate the wires individually so that we can start aligning them according to the chart. Since the wires come together and the cable can be really twisted and it can be very sharp, it is very important that you be very careful handling the wires, and also make sure that you're being very gentle as to not damage the wires at the bottom of the cable that is still not exposed. After detangling each wire and separating them, we will follow the chart to make our corresponding cable. So for this time, we will be making the straight through as our first demonstration. This is the alignment used to make the straight through cable. It is imperative now that you take your scissors to at least cut off a little bit of the wire so that they can fit snugly into the terminator. When placing your cable into the terminator, make sure that your wires go all the way through as to touch the top. So make sure that you're pushing them as far as they can go. Now, before you crimp your actual cable, you want to make sure that all the wires go all the way through into the terminator, and you want to make sure that they're in the correct order so that you do not make the wrong wire or a faulty wire. Matching the opening to the RJ45 terminator, go ahead and place it in the opening and clamp down on the crimper very hard until it naturally releases. The end result should be a terminator that is clamped down to the cable, and when you do pull on that cable, it should not come out from the terminator. If so, go ahead and place it back into the crimper and try to crimp it again. Now, making our crossover cables is a little bit different from making our straight through. Although it is the same process, the wires will go in a different order. As you can see here, the different placements of the different wires indicates that this is a crossover cable, as it is a different wire placement from a regular straight through. Now, making our rollover cable is similar to both making the crossover and the straight through, but again, since it has different wire placements to indicate that this is indeed a rollover cable. Again, following the chart, we have now successfully put the wires in the order to make the rollover cable. Again, I'm just going in with my scissors to trim off the ends a little bit just to make the ends of the wires even so that they can all fit inside the terminator so that the cable can function as it should. Now this device is called a cable tester, and it will tell you if your cable is functional, using the LED lights to test the connection between each wire on both ends of the cable. Now here I am testing my straight through cable that I made off camera to see if it will function properly by turning on the device and looking at the color coordination. Since the straight through cable uses what I like to call a one-to-one connection, that means that the numbers on both LED lights or on both rows will light up at the same time, meaning 1 will light up with 1, 2 will light up with 2, 3 will light up with 3, all the way down to 8. Now with the crossover, it is a little bit different, as some of the numbers will line up with different ones and some of them will line up with each other, but as long as they follow the chart above, it is correct. Now for the rollover, opposite ends on both rows will light up at the same time. So 8 will light up with 1, 7 with 2, 3 with 6, and so on and so forth. And that is how you make your own CAT5 Ethernet cables. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something. Bye!